Good morning, doctor and my friends. My name is Zhong Li. Matrix number S71036. The title that I want to present today is Three Conservation Measures and Recommendation for Bryophyte. Bryophytes are divided into three categories, which are mosses, liverworts, and hornworts. Bryophytes are the smallest plants but important for our planet. Despite their simplicities, they play crucial ecological roles in stabilizing soils, retaining moisture, having nutrient cycling, and even serving as bioindicators of environmental health. However, these ancient non-muscular plants are now facing unprecedented threats. In this presentation, I will talk about the main issue threatening bryophytes, conservation strategy being used to protect them, S2 conservation strategy, and the recommendation we can take to conserve the bryophytes. Now I will talk about threats to bryophyte worldwide. Bryophytes are highly sensitive to environmental change, and several global threats are pushing many species toward extinction. One of the primary threats is habitat loss that caused by deforestation, urbanizations, and agriculture expansions. These activities destroy and alter the microhabitats that bryophytes rely on, such as dam forests and shade riverbanks. Another major threat is climate change, which disrupts by alternations of temperature and humidity levels that are essential for bryophytes' growth and reproduction. Then, pollution is another critical issue. Because bryophytes absorb water and nutrients directly from the air, they are especially vulnerable to chemical compounds in the air like sulfur dioxide and heavy metals. In some areas, invasive species will outcompete native bryophytes for light, space, and nutrients, which leading to significant decline in number of bryophytes. Lastly, overharvesting, especially mosses like sphagnum for horticulture and packaging, has placed pressure on natural populations, reducing their abundance and ecological function. After that, to overcome these threats, a variety of conservation measures and strategies have been developed. One key approach is in situ conservation, which involves protecting bryophytes in their natural habitats. For example, in the national parks and nature reserve, in situ conservation also establishes legal protection and habitat restoration for bryophytes. Scientific research and monitoring are also essential, helping long-term population monitoring to track species health and having climate sensitivity study for bryophytes. Then environmental legislation and policy plays a role as well, such as including bryophyte in national biodiversity action plans and enforcing limits on harvesting and pollution toward bryophytes. After that, public education and awareness also important for conserving bryophytes. Many people are unaware of the ecological value of bryophytes, so public education to recognize ecological value of bryophyte and citizen-sized projects for both identification and monitoring can help to build support for the conservation of bryophytes. Okay, now I will talk about what is S2 conservation. S2 conservation is a strategy that conserves the species outside of their natural habitat. For application of S2 conservation strategy in bryophytes, bryophytes can grow in botanical gardens, cultivating them under controlled conditions. The second application is cultivating bryophyte in tissue cultures lab, for example, micropropagations of rare species. Then, the last application is storing spore in spore banks. These efforts are critical for long-term preservation of genetic material, preserving rare or endangered species, and provide material for potential reintroduction into the wild. The advantage of S2 conservation strategy offer protection from immediate threats like habitat destruction, deforestation, and others. It also acts as a genetic reservoir for future reintroduction. However, there are also have limitations of S2 conservation strategy. For example, S2 conservation strategy may not capture full genetic diversity of bryophytes. It is also hard to replicate complex natural conditions for some species of bryophyte. Despite these challenges, S2 conservation remains a valuable tool in broader conservation toolkit. Then I will talk about the recommendation for bryophyte conservation. To ensure long-term survival of bryophytes, several important actions are recommended. First, we need to enhance research efforts, especially taxonomy study to identify undocumented or new species, and having research that focus on rare and endemic species. This is because many bryophytes are still undescribed, particularly in tropical and alpine regions. Secondly, we need to strengthen habitat protection. We can preserve humid forests, wetlands, and mountain ecosystems, and also reduce land use change with bryophyte thrift. Creating and funding Bryophytes programs will help to ensure representation of genetic diversity and enable develop protocols for reintroduction efforts for bryophytes. Then, promote international collaborations is also vital, like putting bryophyte into global database. For example, some of the bryophyte can be listed in IUCN Red List. Not only that, sharing conservation technology and knowledge between different countries also can help in conserve bryophyte. In conclusion, bryophyte stocks may be small and silent. Bryophytes are essential for healthy ecosystems. They are among the first plants to colonize the land. They support biodiversity and help to regulate the Earth's waters and nutrient cycles. By taking urgent conservation action through research, habitat protection, S71036 strategy, and education, we can ensure that bryophytes continue to survive. Protecting bryophytes means preserving the very foundation of many of our planet's natural systems. Thank you for listening to my presentation and thank you for your patience. I hope everybody can take action to protect bryophytes because bryophytes bring a lot of benefit to us and bryophytes can help to maintain the balance of ecosystem. At this slide, there are 5 references that I used to complete my slide for presentation. Thank you.